Hey Jay,
Hey,
we're going to dive back into some astrology today.
the people are liking it.
I was just going to say that same sentence. The people are liking it. They want more.
Yep.
We're going to talk about the houses.
Okay.
As you know, via the many Marco Polos I sent you, I struggled with going like, what do we do next?
Right.
How much do I put in where? Because with astrology, so many things overlap.
Yeah, but also this is also where people tap out.
This is where people tap out because even houses.
Yep.
I was like, what do I grab?
Right.
Because if I go too deep into it, your brain's going to hurt. And I don't want your brain to hurt. I just want you to understand the concepts.
Yeah, and you also you're not going to leave this episode being like an astrologer.
No, you're not.
This is just so that you know like what's happening and what's going on.
Yes, I want you to be able to read your chart or someone else's chart and gain some understanding about certain things to help you in your life.
Right.
That's my goal.
Agreed.
I still think you should go see an astrologer.
Agreed.
But I want you to have a basis for it.
Yeah.
So we are going to be looking at that. I want to remind you first, I know I say it every episode, but your birth chart is like a screenshot of the sky the moment you were born from the exact location you were born.
Exactly.
It's your own personal sky map.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of having a sky map.
I do too.
Like, oh, could I see your sky map?
Yeah.
Like maybe instead of applying for a job, you just send me your sky map.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can probably tell.
See where we're compatible.
Exactly. Okay. So there are 12 houses in astrology.
Right.
I found this quote from astrologer Marisa Brown in an InStyle article that I thought explained this really, really well. When it comes to explaining how it works, I try to quote the astrologers.
That makes sense.
Because if I try to explain it, it sounds jumbly. Because it is jumbly.
And they're the experts.
They're the experts.
Yes.
Okay. So Marisa says, houses represent the rotation of the earth around its axis over the course of 24 hours.
Yes.
As it rotates, the sun and all the planets appear to be moving through the 12 houses clockwise. Mm-hmm. They rise in the east on the cusp of the first house, or the ascendant, on the left side of the chart. Hang out around the top of the chart at midday, set in the west, the right side of your chart, and then spend time at the bottom of your chart in the middle of the night.
Love.
Okay. So can you picture the wheel? It looks like there's like pie pieces in
exactly.
it. The pie pieces are the houses.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Our buddy, we wish, Eliza Kelly.
I love her.
She says a planet is the what, a sign is the house. A sign is the how, and the house is the where. I'll say it again. Planet is the what, sign is the how, house is the where.
Yes.
I feel like that gives you a good overall
That's a really great way
idea.
of saying it. Yeah. No, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you really dive deep into astrology, there are many different schools of the houses. Like you can click on Cafe Astrology, for example. I think there was like 12 different ones you could click on to go like, what's this house system? What's this house system?
Right, exactly.
So I'm not getting into any of that because your brain will fall out of your head, and you don't need that.
Right.
That we're going to use the basic one that most people use. But most astrologers use like a combination or what one they feel like is right. So if you go and get like an astrology reading over here and then you get one over here and there's like slight discrepancies in either what the house stands for or what planet is in what house.
Right.
That's normal because different people like agree on it being divided up a little bit differently.
Gotcha.
But it's very mathematical, which I will also not explain.
I was also just going to say, though, it's funny you would say that because I was thinking about how complicated this is.
Yeah.
And how everyone, like, outside of this sort of community will imply that astrology is, like, fake or, like, basic bitch stuff.
Right.
Right? Like, it's just like, oh, you're just saying I'm, like, quirky or I'm this or I'm that.
Yeah.
But, like, when you start getting into this...
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart. Like, you have to really study it. You have to really know what you're talking about.
Yes.
It's really impressive.
It is very impressive. And this is why you also get people tuning out of it at a certain point because they are not thinking, they're thinking it's just reading your horoscope.
Right.
Or kind of taking a personality test.
Right.
And so when you get to a certain level, your brain is like, whoa.
Right.
Stop.
Right.
You know, and it's also hard to just explain the houses, to be honest.
Yep.
But I'm doing it in a very certain way. So I want to explain the way that I'm going to explain them today.
Okay.
And what I want you to get out of it. Because otherwise, if I don't start with the houses and we start getting into the planets, I'm going to be mentioning the houses and everyone's going to be going,
what are you talking about?
What does that mean?
Right.
But if you have this base now, it will help you.
Yeah, this is part of the foundation.
Yes, but even if you don't go past the houses, you're like, I think I'll just hang here. This will still help you. Like, I'm going to tell you what they each mean. I'm going to tell you how to look it up, all that good stuff. Okay. But what we're going to look at is we're going to look at what the houses represent and then what zodiac sign rules it.
Yes.
You can also look at what planets are in what house. Mm-hmm. That is what we're going to do when we get to the planets.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
You might have natal planets in a house.
Yeah.
You might have none in a certain house. You might have 4 in a certain house.
Right.
That's normal. Mm-hmm. What happens with people, what I see, is people will be like, oh, I don't have any planets in my second house, which is communication. Mm-hmm. So I must be a really shitty communicator. I should never go into public speaking.
Right.
Not true.
That. Right.
It could be that that's not an area that you'll really dive into.
Mm-hmm.
But also it could be that that's just not an area where you have a lot of lessons and growth this life, because maybe you had a lot before.
Right.
Maybe you had all of your planets in that house.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So don't take it too strangely or create too many stories about this, especially when you start to get to the deeper spiritual transformation ones. People get a little chip on their shoulder if they don't have natal planets in those houses. Yep. But I'm just telling you, that doesn't mean that that's not an area that you're going to be advanced in.
Gotcha.
Having planets in the different houses is just kind of like a flag to you that you're going to have a lot of lessons there.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you're better or worse than anybody else.
Exactly. Right.
I know that sounds silly, but really, even on the interwebs, people are saying stuff about it, and I'm like, that's so off.
Yeah.
Not true. Mm-hmm. Okay. So your ascendant or your rising sign, which we have a whole episode on.
We do.
Is always in your first house.
Right.
So you always have that in your first house. So I'm going to mention the first house briefly, but we're not going to go too far into it because we have a literal entire episode on it. So go there.
Okay.
You'll also see that different planets have different aspects. Mm-hmm. So there's so much to this.
Right.
So when I'm telling you the houses, and you're maybe looking up your signs in your houses, we're going to talk about ours. Okay. When you're doing that, what I want you to remember is that you're only getting a little piece of the puzzle. Mm-hmm. You're going to go through these and go, oh yeah, okay, I can see that.
Right.
But it's not going to feel like, oh wow. Mm-hmm. But when you add the planets in,
it's going to start making sense.
And then you click in the house piece.
Right.
You're going to get it.
Right.
You're going to go, this is so accurate.
Yep.
So bear with us for that.
Yes.
What I want you to think of when you're going through yours, so maybe you're listening and you're looking at your chart and reading yours while we're talking. Maybe you do it later. Doesn't matter.
Right.
What I want you to know is that understanding your houses and what they represent and what zodiac sign is in what house for you is helpful to you so that you don't swim against the tide.
That's a good way of saying
it. Okay, it's not oh, I'll never be good at this, or this will always be hard for me. Mm-hmm. It's oh, if I understand this, I won't have to swim so hard against the tide. I mean, we talked about that a lot when we talked about rising signs.
Right, exactly.
With you with your Scorpio rising, right? And me with my Cancer, oh, nurturing. And you being why is everyone reading me that way?
Right.
It makes such a difference if you're oh, this is why.
Yeah.
So let me embrace this instead of fighting it all the time.
Yeah, just knowing things like this is helpful.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Okay. So let's dive in.
Okay.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. I want us to look at our different houses as well. That was me unplugging my cell phone, that noise. Sorry, everybody. Okay, but your first house, again, we have a whole episode on it, but I'll just quickly say it's your rising sign, your ascendant. That's personality, identity, and how you present to the world.
Yep.
Now, second house is money, material possessions, and what you value. what you need to feel safe, your relationship to security, how you meet your basic needs, and it is sometimes referred to as the house of possessions.
Okay.
Okay. So this is, I feel like I'm going to say this for all of them. This is an important house. Just get ready for me to keep saying that.
Because they make up who you are.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Okay. So again, how do you not swim against the tide? You look at, okay, when it comes to money and material possessions for me, if I look and I go, what sign is in that house? What can that teach me about how to work through life dealing with these things? Okay. So for me, my second house is ruled by Leo.
Okay.
Which cracks me right up, because if you want to think about me as a teenager, early 20s, I was very much kind of against the idea of making money like in a way that was like to be seen and in the front row and be fiery and like lying. Like that to me was like,
oh really?
I think I was trying to lead into my Cancer rising too much. Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
But when I sort of started letting that go and I sort of embraced more of the Leo traits, it made a huge difference. So I'll just tell you a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Leo in the second house, you are likely to spend your money on fun, creative, and joyful experiences. More than other people, you are likely to treat your finances and physical possessions as things to enjoy. Sometimes this might look like a childish approach to your material life, including indulging and refusing to see things clearly. But you can also take a playful approach, seeking to become masterfully at the money game. Regardless, your capacity for creativity and childlike delight are resources to you, gifts to offer the world, and energies you can make money with. I also have a little Virgo in my second house, which brings like the energy of analysis.
Right.
And when you go, oh, there's this little thing of like, let me analyze and like kind of maybe overthink a little bit. But eventually what I want to spend money on is having fun.
Yeah.
That's me.
That is you.
How do I go out into the world and like present myself professionally? Childlike, creatively, having fun. That's better, but that's what I fought.
That's so interesting.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your second house?
My second house is in Sagittarius.
Ooh. I don't think I would have guessed that.
I don't either. It says you're likely to have fine tastes and seek expansive wealth. More than other people, you may find your financial and material life to be sort of an adventure, a place you find enthusiasm and meaning. This might be a wild ride at times, though with moments of extreme generosity, changing fortunes, and rich rewards.
Well then.
I'll take that.
I like that. I actually
love the generosity part a lot.
That's true. I also think there's like more of a simplicity to that concept than what you sometimes apply.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Like, I think that has a feeling to me of like an ease for money.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we don't do that much.
Neither of us, but like I think that you've been getting closer to that.
Yeah.
So I think that's, I don't know, I like that.
I do too.
Yeah. Okay. And is it just, do you have any other little planets showing up?
Says Capricorn in the second house.
Okay. And that brings a little bit of what energy?
It says persistent energy to the affairs of your second house. I don't know.
Let me see.
You tell the world.
So the energy of persistence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me too.
That is you. Yeah. See, that little extra flavor to me really helps it make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Your third house is communication and community. I think I said your second house was communication earlier in my example, but it's actually your third house.
Gotcha.
Just kidding. Don't bother writing into the podcast. I have fixed it.
Someone's gonna.
Yeah, I know. Communication and community.
Yep.
Learning, conversation, flow of information. It colors how you interact with siblings, peers, and friends. Influences early education, short distance travel, speaking, and writing.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
This is also, I think, why it's helpful to learn about all of the signs, not just your
Yes.
top 3 or your big 3.
Yes.
Because like Sagittarius, I don't know much about, but it's literally
Right.
controlling my second house of money
Yes.
and finances.
Yes.
I should know that.
Yes.
Right?
And when we get to look at what planets are in the houses and you add in the zodiac sign plus the planet, it's so powerful. And you
Exactly.
just kind of like have this moment of like, you know, I thought that I was more mysterious of a human, but this website has just told me everything about me based on my birthday.
Exactly.
Like wild stuff to me.
That's why we should all be doing this.
I agree. Okay, so my third house is ruled by Virgo.
Okay.
I think that makes a ton of sense.
Yep.
But I will say, you really appreciate neat and detailed language. Virgo's attentiveness is drawn towards conversations that feel critical but constructive, digging into nuance and detail in a useful way. Your high standards for language may slow down and hinder your self-expression, but you are likely able to convey your thoughts in a clear and precise manner. In fact, you may be able to treat communication as a form of work or service. Hi, we are now on our podcast. It's like the ruler of podcasts right here. Here we can recognize that clarifying our thoughts and finding the right words for something can be healing, making life understandable and workable. And I just want to expand on that for a second to say that to me, words are so important. To have the right word to match the energy of how you feel is everything. And I place a lot of importance on that, to the point that I think it aggravates other people sometimes. But that's the Virgo. That's like, it needs to be precise.
Yeah.
And then I also have a little bit of Libra here, which is harmony and balance coming in.
Gotcha.
So sort of like, I do think I have this tendency, and I always thought it was just based in insecurity, and I do think it is, but I think it could also be a little bit of this Libra, where I need to balance having like smart, deep conversations with being goofy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think that might be a little of this too.
That tracks.
Sometimes I think I'm like, why am I doing, like, am I trying to undo how smart I am a little?
Oh, well,
do you know what I mean?
I think we are taught to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
then
women,
like you make a
especially
joke.
women are taught to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Right. Exactly.
All right. What do you got for your third house?
Mine is in Capricorn.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it says that I'm likely drawn to discussions about weighty and important issues.
Yes. You don't have to keep reading. Nailed.
Stop that. I'll just read the one.
No,
next
read
sentence.
all of it.
No, it's a lot, but it just says, more than other people, you appreciate when ideas are conveyed in a substantive, authoritative, or systematic manner.
Yes.
It's so true.
It's
so true. On a basic level, you might treat language as an internal discipline, striving for definition in your own thinking. Wow.
Yes.
And then I do have a little bit in Aquarius, and it says that that's the energy of innovation.
Wow.
Which is like complete, like,
yes.
that tracks.
So not only should you be reading this going, oh, this is so right on, and being blown away like we are, we should also be reading it and going like, how can I be more connected to that?
Yeah.
How can I bring more of that? How can I allow more of that? And where am I having resistance to being that way?
Right. Well, and that's why, like, if you're having a problem with communication or you can't communicate with people, you go and you look up your third house.
Yes.
And you see where there might be some issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Your fourth house is also referred to as the Imam Coeli.
Okay.
I looked up so many different pronunciations of that.
Yeah, no,
It's
that
Latin.
looks right. Yeah,
that's my best try.
I think that's close.
It means bottom of the sky.
Oh.
Okay, so your fourth house was exactly what was at the bottom of the sky the moment you were born.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, so it's the opposite of your rising sign.
Yeah.
Okay, so where your rising sign is about yourself, your fourth house is about your roots, support structure, home life, domestic sphere, relationship with your parents, how you parent. And Eliza Kelly said this sentence, which I had to just sit and think about for a while because she words stuff so well.
That, yeah.
She said it's the way we metabolize our upbringing.
Whoa.
Right?
That is a good one.
Sorry for that noise.
Yeah. Metabolize your upbringing.
So, like,
Yeah,
when you
that's
think about
great.
that, it's like what you do with it and how you then,
Yeah.
like act in the
Use
future.
it in your own life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
Wow, I like that a lot.
So, our fourth house, there's a lot of influence from our parents, but mainly from our mothers.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
Nice.
So, my fourth house is in Libra.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, this is balance. This is also my moon sign.
Okay.
Libra.
Right,
So
exactly.
I feel very familiar with this.
Yes.
But so for home security, like all of that stuff, to me everything is about beauty, harmony, friendliness. You may experience your close relationships as support structures, as you would probably relax by hanging out with friends or practicing an art. Is this an art?
Yes.
Okay. With Libra being an air sign, you may have somewhat fluctuating experiences of home, even perhaps dealing with extremes of starkly different situations. Regardless of where you are, a sense of internal equilibrium and harmony with your surroundings can lead you to a sense of home. Then I also have a little Scorpio in there,
Ooh, nice.
which is like renewal and deep stuff.
Yep.
And I do believe that also tracks.
Absolutely.
Okay, how
Definitely.
about you for the fourth sign?
You're going to die.
I can't wait.
And if you've listened to this podcast, if you're a regular listener of this podcast, you're going to be like, oh, wow, astrology is real.
Okay.
So my fourth house is ruled by Aquarius.
Uh-huh.
And it says, and you talked about family, parents,
Yep.
your mother.
Yep.
With Aquarius in the fourth house, you likely have had an unusual relationship to home. You might have had somewhat of an alternative upbringing or not really have identified with where you were born.
Shut your mouth. Oh my God.
This might have left you feeling aloof.
Oh my God. Do they know you?
But you are likely to feel like family with similarly unique and authentic people. I'm not even going to read anymore. I'm just going to leave it right there.
Wow.
That's what, like, you can say astrology is bullshit all you want. Like, you can, like, make it some, like, girly pop, like, silly bullshit TikTok thing. But you read stuff like that and you're like, I just got read by an app.
You kind of got your ass kicked by it a
Like,
little.
in the best way. Like,
yes.
What more confirmation do you need?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So if you're new here, you're like, what the hell are they talking about? But if you've listened to podcasts of ours, you know a lot about me.
You understand that that's really accurate for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
And also like very influential in your life.
Exactly.
All right. I need to recover from that.
Yeah.
So let's take a quick break and we'll come back and keep going through the houses.
Okay. So we're obsessed. Mm-hmm. But I won't do this every week. I promise. You're going to be so mad at me.
Oh God. It's not about me again.
It is.
Jamie!
I promise I won't do it every week. I won't.
Okay.
But
this is the last one you're allowed. Jesus.
But the burn book.
Oh, thank you.
That's really... So Heather has a blog.
Yeah.
A Substack.
Yes. It's called The Guide.
It's called The Guide.
Yeah.
Right? And so we talked about it in last week's Obsessed segment. That's why she's mad that I'm saying it again. But too bad. This is my segment. You're the boss of me.
Okay.
But you just published your second entry, your second, post.
Yep.
And it's called The Burn Book. And you don't have to, obviously I want people to go read it.
Yeah.
Subscribe, read it, love it, comment, all that stuff. But the idea of the Burn Book, I love what you did. So I want you, because I think, because in your post, you told people to make their own.
I did.
And I think they should.
Oh, they've been sending them to me.
Have they?
I can't. Okay, so
tell us more.
Okay.
Tell us more.
But I want to say how it started. I had a dream that I was writing it.
Yes.
I mean, it had names.
Yeah.
I named names.
As burn books do.
Yes.
Right.
And I Marco Polo'd you.
Yep.
And said, like, I had this dream, like, this idea to write this, like, I didn't say burn book. That was your idea. And I was, like, just calling everyone out and telling them to fuck off.
Right.
And you were like, you should write that, like a burn book. And I was like, yeah, but like I have to figure out a way to balance it so like it can't just be for me. Like I don't want to write something. Like, I do write stuff just for my own mental health.
Right.
But I wanted it to be for everybody. So you helped me figure out how to do that.
Right.
So, and the title, credit to Jamie. J. Hay.
I'll take that.
Yeah. I really like it when people write about you and they call you Jay.
Oh, yeah.
Jay.
Yeah, because they think it's Jay. They think my name's Jay.
Jay, yeah, because
Right.
I call you that.
Right.
Actually, only on the podcast.
True.
In real life, I don't think
Nope.
I call you that ever. Okay, it's weird. I don't know why that
It's a thing.
happened.
Yeah.
It just did.
Yeah.
Okay. But so then I wrote it, and it took me a while, but I got it to the place, and like I didn't put any names, but I basically just wrote like my anger towards people who were like screwing me over or being mean to me or hurting me.
Right.
And was just kind of like, you can burn, bitch. I didn't say bitch, but I thought it.
Right. Well, and that's the vibe of it.
Because women are taught, like, you're not supposed to be angry. Right. And you're told, like, you always have to rise above. And I'm just kind of like, okay, but also, what if you're just, like, cunning and witty? And you say the fuck you part,
right?
But you don't put the name, and then you make everybody guess if it's about them.
Right.
And that those people are, like, a little tortured.
Yeah, but that's on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're like, I wonder if that's about me, I want you to know that I think it is.
But also, if you're listening to this and you're thinking like, oh, that's petty, or like, oh, that's this, that's that. I want you to just take a second to wonder why you're thinking that.
Yeah.
Because everyone on this planet has felt, and probably fairly frequently feels, betrayed or crossed or hurt.
Yes.
Right? And we're allowed to feel those things.
You're allowed to be angry about it. You're allowed to tell someone to fuck off. You're allowed to, you're also allowed to be the bigger person, which is usually what I choose. But sometimes when you just do that, like there's a price to yourself.
Right.
And so to be able to write something, maybe you don't share it. Maybe you only share it with me. I love getting them. But like, maybe you share it without names and let them question it. I mean, there's enough hints. I know there's a few people who read that.
Right.
Because some of them are like silly enough to still be on my email list. Because I think even though they're mad at me, they're kind of like obsessed with what I might do or say.
Yikes.
So I know I mean, there was a couple of lines that I texted to you and I was like, is this too obvious who this is? And you were like, yes.
Take that one down a little. Take it down level.
Yeah. But like, that's good. Like, it should be that way. And like, that price to yourself, you can pay it. Like, you can like do that and like still be the better person and still not sink to their level or like swing back to hurt. You can still write it smart enough that you can deny, oh, of course that's not about you.
Right.
But you know it is. Like, because then it gets out. And you're allowed to be seen as angry.
Right.
You're allowed to be seen as scary or unhinged or whatever words people are going to attach. Messy.
Right.
That's that whole thing that like women are fire and a lot of people are just afraid of they can't handle fire. So just go fucking burn them all.
Right, exactly.
That's how I feel.
And you don't have to publish your own, but get it out.
No.
Process it, feel it.
So this really cool thing happened as a result because I encouraged women to write their own and then they started writing them and sending them to me. Nice. Some with names. I mean, I'll never fucking tell. I'll take it to my grave. Yeah. But like a lot without. And to sit there and like read other women's anger is oddly therapeutic. Do you know what I mean?
Because you're experiencing someone processing emotions that you've been told you can't process.
Yeah, but
like
you
relating. Feel the power of it.
Yes.
It's so powerful. That's why they don't want us processing our emotions and feeling mad and feeling upset, is because we're powerful when we do that.
Yes.
When we're all just sitting nicely and being the better person and turning the other cheek, we're just all sitting here letting the world burn around us.
Yes. And
we're not doing anything.
Exactly. And you can't preach boundaries to people, and I'm talking to myself right now. You can't preach boundaries to people and then not keep boundaries like that. Like, words are boundaries. Words are spells. That's what they are.
Yes.
So if you fuck me over, there might be something written about you. Right. So maybe don't do that.
Yeah, well, there have to be consequences.
Yes. And this, to me, is a very mild consequence. And it made me feel good. And apparently it made some other people who have permission to be mad. And, like, I love that. And you don't always have to be the bigger person.
Well, and that's why I'm bringing it up in the Obsessed, because I want other people to go and read it and then do their own and feel the release that you're going to feel when you do it for yourself.
Yes. You're allowed to, even if it's not a burn book, even if it's like saying to someone in real life, go, you can burn. I'm done with you.
Right.
I don't want you around me.
Right.
I don't want to be nice to you anymore.
Right.
You have full permission to do that.
Yep.
And it's scary at first, but I got to tell you, when you start doing it, it's powerful.
Yep.
Again, words are spells. Just fucking cast them, man.
Yes.
And they don't have to all be love and light. They can be burn, bitch.
Burn. Right.
Okay, Jay, back to our houses here. Okay, the 5th house. This one is self-expression and joy, childlike and creative energy, playfulness, pleasure, your inner child, and how you connect with performance, competition, and theatricality.
Okay. That's a pretty broad
It's a lot.
description. Yeah.
I think as a society, because we're so focused on like productivity and being responsible and living in your ego, that we really miss how much of life should be childlike and fun and pleasurable and following desire and all of that. Like that's like been squashed. So I think when you hear it sometimes it's like, oh, this is expansive. And it's like, it's actually probably all the things you're missing.
Yeah, exactly. So. Expansive is a great word for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love me a 5th house.
Yeah.
My 5th house is ruled by Scorpio.
Oh, nice.
I know. So I'll read this, but I just have to say that to me, whenever Scorpio shows up, I'm like, oh, this one is like a shadow working place.
Yeah, true.
And when
Deep
you combine
and dark.
like shadow work with like inner child stuff,
Wow.
I like that's powerful. Okay. So Scorpio in the 5th house, you likely have an intense experience of your creativity. At times,
as we just said in the obsessed segment. Nice.
At times of your life, it may feel like your own pleasure, joy, and artistic energy are hidden from you or are otherwise somewhat dangerous. Can confirm. Regardless, your inner child probably delights in the dark depths of life. Yes, she does. Finding itself able to play in the shadows.
She does like that.
That's where if I could just exist in everybody's shadows and my own, I would be very happy.
That's such a cool visual, by the way.
You may also seek to be recognized for your soulful self-expression. That way you can portray your experience in a raw and powerful manner. Fun and creativity are alchemical pathways, enabling you to turn the gunk of life into gold. And then I have a little sprinkle of Sagittarius in there, which brings wisdom.
I love that.
I'm kind of obsessed with it.
I don't know that a lot of people would see that part of you, but that definitely is like a very big part of you.
I think you're right. I think that's one of the like protected areas that like if you are somebody I trust, you can see that part. Or maybe if you know me on a professional level, you're reading that. Like if you did like sessions with me back in the day, maybe you're going like, oh yeah, is there any other part of her? But I think
that's true.
Just normally in life, people are like, wait, what?
Right.
I don't know. All right, let me hear yours.
Mine's in Pisces.
Ooh.
And it says your inner child is likely sustained by a connection to the fantastic and otherworldly parts of life. You may experience creativity as a portal to other slices of reality and have a rich and playful imagination. This is a combo that makes an artist, especially if your spirituality encourages fun. Your appetite for the numinous and romantic sides of life could be confusing or messy at times, though. Ideally, you'd have playmates that are similarly mystically inclined, but grounded in healthy ways of being.
Yes.
I think that tracks.
I do.
I have a little bit in Aries, which brings in creation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always think of Aries as the performers. Like, they're the celebrities of the world.
When I was reading this was making me think of when I was doing photography. And like it says, if you're an artist, it tracks. It works if you're having fun.
Yes.
And that's what I did when I was a portrait photographer. Is that like I would sense. Like when I had kids, I would be silly. I would be like laughing and putting on a show and like like being really creative to get everyone to create that art.
I also think it kind of represents how you are in the podcast and the role you play here. of sort of like the grounded mystic that like people are like kind of connecting with and understanding, but then like funny, bringing in like a little flavor and spice. Like I also see that too.
Yeah.
I like that for you.
Same.
I like that, Jay. All right. Your 6th house.
Yep.
Daily routine, health and wellness. Okay. So this is like how you go about your daily life, like the little kind of boring to most people. Like how do you operate?
Right.
Okay.
Day to day.
Aliza Kelly. I know I quote her a lot, but she's my favorite
No,
astrologer.
seriously, like she's incredible.
I know, I agree.
Go follow her on all of her stuff.
I know. And so I have like paid for some of her things and like I always have to be careful not to speak those things.
Oh, right.
But so I encourage you to go find all of that stuff. Okay, so Aliza says, while the 1st house speaks to the body you were born with, the 6th house reflects the body you create through your choices. Yeah. We both just did that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That one made my back
Body
hurt.
you create through your choices. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Day-to-day routine, calendar management. It's also the house of pets. Seems a little random to me, but I'm sure an astrologer could explain that.
Yeah.
How you care daily for your mental, emotional, and physical well-being.
Okay.
All right. So mine is Sagittarius, obviously. Ready? Okay. So you are likely to seek meaning and enthusiasm through your everyday life. Your worldview is probably related to health and services, aiming for skillful enthusiasm and attentive generosity. Disorder may feel discouraging to you. A sense of cosmic deflation.
That whole sentence.
As if you're out of touch with the essential liveliness of the world.
Oh my God.
I just have to stop and say that, like, if there is disorder or something not clean or clutter around me, it grinds me to a halt. I cannot do anything.
Right.
And it's always driven me crazy.
That's why.
But I'm just going to blame my 6th house. Be like, you know what, guys? My 6th house is in Sagittarius.
We got to clean this shit up.
We got to clean this shit. Put your shit away. Okay. So you could get fanatic or dogmatic about your habits, routines, or self-sacrifice. Shit, yes. More than other arrangements, Sagittarius in the 6th house has the capacity to have a rich, fulfilling experience of everyday life and work. Wow. And then I have a little bit of Capricorn in there, which is like persistence energy. So like that's pretty
That's
much
just
me.
you.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, let's hear yours.
Oof. Mine's an Aries.
I don't think I would have guessed that, but it does. Yeah. Okay, explain it because I like it already.
So you likely take a fiery approach to the rhythms of your life. Your work life may feel like a battle at times, a harsh or combustive atmosphere, but at your best you likely feel like an everyday hero, tackling minute problems with athletic strength. More than other people, the tedious parts of life might make you feel angry.
Oh my God.
Nailed it.
Wow.
Yep.
I like the part about the athletic strength because what is it that you always say that you do where you're like, I just gotta like knuckle up and attack the thing that I don't feel like doing?
I call it, I say I bull run.
Oh, yes.
Like I literally picture like a bull, like if you're like looking up Taurus energy, which is interesting because Taurus, there's a sprinkle of Taurus in this.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But I always picture like literally just like putting my head down and like running into something.
It's pretty athletic.
if I have to do something, it's like you just got to bull run into it,
you're
it done.
angry that you have to do the minutia.
Get it done, can't sit in it.
So you're going to bull run at it to get it done.
Yep. Wow. You can trademark that. Bull run.
Bull run. Squidgy.
And
bull run. Trademark.
Cool.
Jamie. Okay. Your 7th house is your descendant. So if your ascendant is yourself, descendant is like how you're partnering with other people.
Gotcha.
Okay. So partnerships, marriage. Now, I just have to say, they don't mean marriage like if you have the piece of paper or not. If they're like in a long-term committed relationship, that's what they mean here.
Correct.
Okay. One-on-one bonds, romantic and platonic. People quite often only look at this as romantic.
Okay.
Big mistake. There's a
Yeah.
lot of great information here on the kind of friend you are, the kind like one-on-one connections you'll have professionally. Like it you don't need to get stuck there.
Right.
It's basically how you approach pairing up with somebody at all.
Gotcha.
Not in a group, but just one-on-one with other people.
Okay.
All right. So, again, I've said this many times, but people will, when they're dating, will just look at like sun sign information.
Yes. Right.
No. Definitely look at the rising sign. But then check your 7th house and their 7th house. And you're going to have a real understanding of what's going on. Also, friendship, also partnering at work, all of this. Okay.
Yep.
So mine is in Capricorn.
Okay.
So that suggests someone who takes a somewhat serious, mature, and dedicated approach to relationships. More so than other placements, you likely prefer partnerships that feel well-defined and based on a sturdy structure. At times, you may feel cold or distant to your partners. While this serious approach can be practical and romantic from a long-term view, stay in touch with the sweetness and fluidity of love. When based on integrity, Capricorn relationships can be incredibly trustworthy and supportive.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I would also say there's a little sprinkle of Aquarius in there for me, which is innovation. So it's like, doesn't have to be
Keeping things
conventional or, yeah, exactly.
fresh.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay.
That's perfect.
I think it sounds right on.
Yeah.
I think this, especially the part where it's like the stable, like if it feels like there's integrity there.
Yeah. You're in it. Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, that's probably where the cold and distant comes in.
Exactly.
It's just me going like, you stay over there, gain some more integrity, and then we'll talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What do you got?
Mine is in Taurus.
Ooh. Okay.
So it's someone who's oriented towards stability, sturdiness, and smooth pleasure within their relationships. Likely to appreciate partnerships that are reliable, grounding, and beautiful in a simple way. Ooh. You're drawn to the goodness of solid connections.
That is very true for you.
Yep.
That, like, the goodness of solid connections.
Yep, exactly.
Like yeah.
And then there's a little bit of Gemini in there, which brings in curiosity.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah.
Okay, I like those. I also feel like ours match up well.
Exactly.
They seem pretty similar.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Good stuff. All right. The 8th house. This is where, to me, like 8th, 9th, and 10th is like some real juicy stuff.
Okay.
I think the basic-y kind of stuff is probably more important in your daily life to know.
Exactly.
But I think when you start getting into these further away houses, it starts to get spicy.
Yep.
Okay. So the 8th house is transformation.
Yep.
Including birth, death, sex, and intimacy. It's about deep psychological experiences, hidden passions, inheritance, unearthing hidden treasures, and it is heavy but fulfilling aspects of life.
Oh, I like it.
We did a deep jump here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine is ruled by Aquarius. So it says you likely explore your independence and unique genius within the hidden or shadowy parts of life. Yes, that's my career.
Yes.
Thank you. You may take an alternative approach to sexuality and intimate relationships and likely appreciate experimenting with esoteric practices. Okay. Humor, too, could help you navigate the weird, difficult, or uncomfortable parts of your life. I may lean on that too much, but yes. Depending on the rest of your chart, it could be difficult to express yourself and live your life in a truly authentic, self-guided manner. Yes.
Yep.
Crises in your life will likely guide you towards your individual spirit, helping you live in a free and forward-thinking manner. Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
And then I have a little Pisces in there, which is connection.
Wow.
Which is one of my top human needs, so that makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I know it's deep, right?
Yeah.
All right. What do you got?
My 8th house is ruled by Gemini.
Oh.
You're likely to experience the mind in a mysterious and powerful way. At times, you might find it difficult to fully share your thoughts, and you may feel that you need to be suspicious of others. No, that's silly. Humor can be quite a refuge for you. So again, both of us with the humor.
Yep.
A pathway to clarity and a tool to use to deal with intense circumstances. That's me.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
And then mine is, there's a little bit of Cancer in there. So that brings in like the idea of security and home.
I love that. Mm-hmm. It sounds like it's like describing claircognizance to me.
Right, which is me.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're the poster child. Wow.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, I love that too. See, these are the ones that you don't think so much about, right? Like you identify so much with your big three, and then you get into these and you're like, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
The last line of mine says, you may appreciate developing your psychic capacities and studying the occult, getting a grip on the magical, evocative power of language.
Holy shit. Yes.
Yes.
Is that what we're doing?
Right, exactly. Like that's literally what we are doing right now.
Wow.
Language.
Yeah.
And the mystical.
Wow.
Literally doing it right now.
You may enjoy. She does enjoy. Brings her a lot of joy.
Exactly.
Okay. The 9th house is your belief systems, higher learning, adventure, long distance travel, approach to philosophical conversations. Basically just the idea of philosophy in general is this house. How you broaden your horizons, expansion, growth, and how you connect to meaning and divinity in life.
Nice.
It's a big deal.
It's a lot.
I am in Pisces here.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So your philosophy likely emphasizes the imaginative and mystical parts of life. May have a podcast called Intuitive Girl's Guide. Okay. You may be particularly drawn to stories of supernatural events and other dimensions, and you likely think we have a lot to learn from fiction, mythology, and altered states of consciousness.
Wow. Anyone that's listening to this podcast right now needs to go look at their 9th house.
Yes.
Like if you're listening to an intuitive podcast.
Yeah. What's your 9th house
What's your
say?
9th house say?
Yeah.
It's going to tell you all about this stuff.
Yes. Okay. Still, your worldwide view might be fuzzy at times or be a little too far out to really guide your life. Yep. Regardless, your ideal adventure would likely take you into the fantastic feeling, perhaps an inner journey, trips to places of incredible beauty or stillness, or simply being able to lose yourself in something big and immersive. And then I have a little sprinkle of Aries, which is creation and kind of performing all of that for everyone. Hello.
I love it.
All right, what do you got?
So good. Mine is ruled by Cancer. You will likely see the divine as a comforting and nourishing force. This worldview may be quite down to earth, having to do with healing, safety, or the cycles of nature. You likely think highly of home and family and appreciate feeling your way into the big questions of life. Yep. Still, you could feel hurt when your beliefs are threatened. Your emotions can be quite influential to your attitudes about life. You might enjoy pilgrimages to a homeland, or simply appreciate vacations as chances to rest and recuperate.
Wow.
That's me.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a good one.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Okay. We're almost done here.
Yeah, we're wrapping it
Got
up.
a few more. 10th house. This is also known as the medium coeli.
Yep.
It means the top of the sky. So that's the exact top of the sky at the moment you were born.
Right.
Okay. Legacy, career, authority, and reputation. How you'll be remembered in this lifetime. Your public image. It contains intel on how you get after your greatest ambitions in life. How you connect with authority figures and how you act as one. How you shine.
So if you're doing any kind of like purpose work or career work,
this is
here.
Super duper important.
Right.
Okay. Mine is in Aries. So I'm going to perform this for all of you to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So this says, Aries in the 10th house suggests an active and fiery professional life. You may feel particularly called to take charge of your destiny and to assume positions of leadership.
No.
No. That's funny. Aries thrive when their initiative and bravery are engaged. You can bring energy and zest to the table, spearheading projects and providing gusto to the cause. Still, you may find it challenging to be really steady, and often other people need to take the lead.
No. That's not it.
I don't think so. I think it would be smart if I let other people take the lead, but I'm not sure that I don't want it. Yeah. Right. You can stave off burnout by focusing on projects that really call forth your highest ideals. Ideally, you'd be able to seek out a challenge, finding work that helps you grow. And then I've got a sprinkle of Taurus in there, which is like that earthly abundance.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's you.
So that's my performance need for everybody right there. Yeah. Okay, what do you got?
Mine is ruled by Leo.
Also very like in the spotlight. Okay.
Suggest someone who is joyful, creative, and brave in their public work. This placement is gifted with the ability to be an emblem of something. That tracks.
Oh my gosh.
You can follow your calling with courage, stepping into the spotlight, or working with silent strength.
Ooh. Ooh.
It may help you to feel grounded in something bigger than yourself. People with this placement are often professionally creative or playful. You can be an actor, influencer, work with children, or simply operate with a great deal of personal involvement. Wow. And then there's some Virgo in there with like analysis and stuff.
I like that it says both in the spotlight and like, what is it, like the silent supporter or whatever, because I feel like I don't know that you wrestle with them, but you're kind of always going like back and forth and like assessing where to be what.
Yes.
And it's literally that you're supposed to be doing that. Like you're supposed to be doing both.
A little bit of both, right? Exactly.
I
think I actually do that in all places. I mean, like I consider work to be like even some things that I do that I don't get paid for.
Yeah, of course.
And if you think about like me on the podcast and me in those places, I'm very much like both of those energies.
Yes.
Yeah.
But see, if you don't know that, you could fight and think you're supposed to be one or the other.
Right. Are you in the spotlight or are you the supporter?
Yeah, but it's so freeing to be like, no, actually both is exactly working for you.
Exactly. Oh, and it was supposed to be like that. That's how like the stars were written for me.
You were like literally designed that.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, my personal sky map says that I'm supposed to be both.
Imagine if we said that in a Star Wars movie or something. Let me just pull up the sky map.
First of all, you have never seen a Star Wars movie, so how dare you reference it?
I'm assuming you would have a sky map in Star Wars.
I think that they're pretty advanced, so it's probably like a sky
it would
GPS.
Like come up on like the air.
Okay. You have to watch
now you have to watch
Star
the video
Wars.
or I was gonna say you have to watch the video of this now that I just did a.
Yes, there was a visual demonstration. She acted it out. Her Leo just took the spotlight and acted it right out. Consider a sky map out for you. You have to watch it because the amount of times I reference Star Wars to you and you're like remember when we were talking about the male gaze? And I was talking about Kylo Ren.
I know, but I've seen it. It's like permeates the
whole
culture.
Concept. This is a little Star Wars side note. Okay, the whole
we're
concept.
Down the rabbit hole.
Is that in here anywhere?
No, but
all down rabbit holes.
It.
The whole concept of Star Wars is like an empire, which is the patriarchy, and the resistance, which fights it, and the idea that if you get too caught in being all light or all the dark side, that both of those are harmful. That's what the whole entire concept of it is about, and that's the way you live your life. So I'm just saying.
It just feels like a lot to go back and catch up on.
Well,
it's like 1,000 movies.
You're gonna have some time coming up.
I will.
So you can work on it then.
Fine. Star Wars.
And then we'll do a whole episode. No, I'm just kidding. We won't torture you. Maybe we'll do an obsessed segment, and it's called Jamie Watch Star Wars.
Okay.
And here are her thoughts. And Heather's gonna argue with all of them.
I was
probably.
Say, you're not gonna like them.
Okay. Your 11th house.
Yes.
Is humanity, group dynamics, aspirations, networking. I hate that word. So that'll show up. Long-term wishes, teams and groups, how you appeal to audiences, and how you express a sense of community. humanitarian pursuits, and technology and medicine.
Huh.
Now, I went to look this up because I thought I was right, and I did confirm that I am right, that social media and how you connect with that would be your 11th house. Because that's like how you appeal to an audience. So if you're trying to do that on social media, you should look at your 11th house.
Right.
Yeah, and we'll read ours and see if we're doing it right.
Okay.
I mean, it's always evolving. Maybe that's on here too.
Right.
I don't know.
Exactly.
My 11th house is ruled by Taurus. It's a lot of Taurus in my chart.
Yeah.
So it says, you would ideally experience community in a slow and stable way. Yes. As a reliable ground you can count on. More than other people, you likely appreciate the beauty and bounty of community, enjoying the simple things in life with your friends. You may feel strongly connected to your physical neighborhood. Since Taurus is a slow, sometimes stubborn sign, yes, your friend groups could be a place you get stuck. You likely particularly enjoy embodied, sensual activities with friends, like time in nature, dancing, enjoying food, drinking, or music. And there's a little sprinkle of Gemini in there, which is curiosity.
Dancing and tacos.
Yes. In.
Jew.
Or even just the Taurus-y thing of like sitting by a fire. Or so I make you in the nice weather sit out on my deck.
Yeah.
Like let's just do that. And
right.
Talk and drink coffee and talk, like solve all the world's problems. That is accurate for me. I also think it is not accurate really for the way that I show up on social media. But I don't, I think it's interesting to look and go, well, I don't know that I need to adjust how I show up, but I need to know like this is how the audience is going to connect with me most.
Perceive you. Right.
So maybe like bringing that up. But then if I think another step further, basically we've become known for sitting and talking about the things we love.
That's true. That's
to
true.
a big group.
That's true.
So in that aspect, I think it hits.
Yeah, it does hit. I mean, people always email and say they feel like they're just in a conversation with us.
I've got a bunch of messages being like, please don't stop doing the videos because I feel like I'm actually there
in the
more.
room, right.
And I'm like, okay, but like, you know, we have to watch them and edit them and like we have to look at ourselves and then
I know.
It's a lot.
It's a whole exercise in shadow work.
It is a shadow work exercise. You're welcome, everybody. I already know. I can't see that far to the screen. I can see that we're in the screen, but I already know that I don't like how my hair looks.
Oh no, it looks nice.
I know, but I'm just saying, like I'm doing it. I'm live doing it, and I can feel that later when I go edit this, that I'm going to be annoyed with my hair.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't think people think so much about that.
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. What's your 11th house?
My 11th house is ruled by Virgo.
Oh.
It says you're likely motivated by a healthy feeling in community.
Yep.
You might be attracted to a spirit of service, volunteering, and helping one another.
Holy shit.
If you're from the LP and you're listening to this,
that is Jamie.
That's me. That's
the
why.
LP is a school that her children went to,
right.
called the Learning Project.
Which
Shout out.
And I won't leave. I won't leave there.
No, you're forever attached.
Yeah. I love them very much. And a lot of our my LP fam listen.
Yes.
Because they love me.
As they should.
And I love them.
As they should.
You may be interested in how community can function and its mechanics. Taking a critical approach to friendship could be difficult, though. Ideally, you can find your way to a simple and wholesome spirit of fellowship, always serving and developing a sense of order.
I love all of that for you.
Yeah.
That is really, really accurate. I wonder if what was the part what you said where it could be difficult to bring critical or something?
Taking a critical approach to friendships could be difficult, though.
I wonder if that's the accommodating thing.
It is my accommodating thing. Like, I don't want to be critical. I just want
everyone to be good and happy. Yeah, exactly. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Last but not least, the 12th house.
Yep.
Endings, hidden strengths, psyche, the unseen realm, end of cycles, the house of the unconscious, and spirituality.
I love the 12th house.
Me too.
I love it.
I love it. Secrets, dreams, emotions, affairs, addictions, psychological ailments. No wonder people who love shadow work love this house.
Well, right, exactly.
Yeah. Rest and recuperating, recovering, karma, and your shadow self.
There we go.
Here we are.
All the good stuff.
Mine is in Gemini.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I thought so too. And then I read it and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Gemini in the 12th house, you likely have a mentally oriented approach to the world of dreams, meditation, and spirituality.
Okay.
Within your depths, you may feel a profusion of ideas, curiosities, and phenomena to understand. Mm-hmm. Does that like become a researcher? Okay. This may be quite captivating, but also confusing. Your inner worlds might feel busy or slippery at times. They literally use my word, slippery.
Yeah, your slippery boundaries.
Exactly,
Wow.
exactly. Going everywhere and nowhere. Still, you likely have a strongly intellectual and poetic nature and are able to speak to and from the spiritual parts of life.
Wow.
There's a little sprinkle of Cancer in there too. Security, nurturing
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It works. I don't think I would have gone like, oh yeah, Gemini. But when I read that,
Yeah.
I got it.
Well, Gemini is one of those signs that you kind of have to like redefine because it gets a bad rep. Like you just,
Yes.
like a lot of people hear Gemini and they just think two-faced.
Yeah, which is so not Gemini.
No, it's not.
To me, Gemini is just like really smart and like mentally holding a lot of stuff. All
Yeah,
at
and
the same
able
time.
to like sort of a duality,
Yes.
but not in like a mean way.
I mean, my husband is a Gemini sun sign. And I always think like, yeah, that's his like the brilliance of his ADHD.
Yes. Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do you got?
Mine is in Libra.
Oh.
So you're likely to experience your inner world in connection to love, balance, and harmony. You may feel your relationships to be dreamy, otherworldly, and in some way at the center of your universe.
Yeah.
That part, yeah.
Yeah.
Being so internally influenced by other people can be challenging, though.
Oh.
You may strongly feel when things are disharmonious, or unjust.
Oh, jeez. They put the just word in there.
Or unjust.
Yeah.
You may appreciate exploring your depths through art or other meditative practices, finding or creating a dynamic equilibrium within yourself.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I think the part where it says that like other people's emotions, other people's states, this is not how they said it, like cause like unrest in you.
Yeah.
Like how do they word that?
Internally influenced by other people can be challenging.
I feel like that happens to you a lot.
A lot.
I think you're good at managing it.
Yeah, I've always blamed it on being like super empathic, but
Yeah.
it sounds like it's sitting in the 12th house too.
You get like a double whammy.
Yeah.
I like that for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope this helps you kind of get houses.
But see how like I know we talked a lot about ourselves and like
Yeah.
hopefully that was enjoyable.
Hopefully you can use it as an example. Yeah.
Right, but like you can see how like when we go through it, we don't just go through this to like talk about ourselves.
Right.
It's to show you how intricate this process is.
Yes. And this is only a very small piece of the puzzle.
Right.
So we're going to do planets. Well, we'll try to get that in sometime soon.
Yep.
So we're going to have that for you. And I think if you have this base to go in and then add the planets to, like what planets are in what houses, whether they're like planets, natal planets, or you have transits and stuff in those houses, like I think that will really help you.
Right.
Because, go ahead.
Well, and I think that like there are probably some people that are like, do the planet episode now.
Yeah.
Which I get.
Yes.
But I think it actually works that we put other episodes in between.
Yeah.
Because you can go
Yeah.
to whatever app you use. Again, we use Sanctuary.
Sanctuary, yes.
And you can go through your own houses.
Yep.
And sit with it for a little bit.
I was going to say, you need to
Apply
digest it.
Right. Like,
yes.
Metabolize it.
Oh, we almost said it at the exact same time.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you have to do that, right? Like, because this is all so layered and there's so much information that if you're like, you listen to the houses episode and then you listen to the planets episode.
Yeah, your brain's going to fall out of your head.
Yeah, it's just gonna float through. So just sit with it.
Sit with it, apply this part. And then when we get to the planets, you'll have a familiarity that you wouldn't have had.
Right.
And then you can add the piece instead of trying to jam it all into yourself at one time.
Exactly.
That's not going to work. It's too overwhelming.
Exactly.
Now, also, I just want to say there is so much more depth to the houses. If you wanted to go further and understand more and look at the different, the different houses, like the different systems for houses.
Right.
Highly encourage, if you feel interested in this, go do that. I am aware that there's a lot that we didn't get into.
Right.
But I also am trying to carefully cultivate the information to give you a basis.
Right.
Without completely overwhelming your brain.
Exactly.
So please go seek more if you're interested. But also, if this is more than enough, feel free to end there. That's fine.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And what I love about this part, like talking about this stuff, is that it feels like that nice overlap that you and I always talk about, where science meets intuition.
Yes.
And they're sort of doing the same exact thing.
Yes.
Right? Like, this is so scientific. You're talking about where planets are in the sky and measurements and distances and degrees. But then as you're going through this and reading this, use your intuition.
Yes.
Like, tap in, see how you, see where it applies in your life. You're using your intuition when you're doing that.
Yes, if you were listening and you got really drawn to a few of the houses, but some of them wouldn't even stick in your brain, allow that.
Right.
That's intuitively. Go explore more there, and then you'll be drawn to the other ones when you're meant to.
Right.
I always feel like that with astrology. There'll be times in my life where you could give me a pop quiz on any part of my chart, and I would be like, I know it because I'm so in. I got that. And there'll be other times where I'm like, I forget everything.
Right.
I don't know. It's not front of brain for me. And that's fine. That's normal and how it should be.
That's how the planets and humans cycle.
Wait, are you describing being cyclical? Because I remember that showed up in one of your houses.
It did. It was
yeah.
in one of the houses. It was. Yes.
Yeah. So it's great. Start with understanding yourself.
Right.
And then start playing around with it and exploring it more, and how it relates to other people and the people around you, and how you sort of connect. If you are working with someone and you're butting heads somewhere, pull out your natal chart, man. And what area are you butting heads, and look at each other's, because there's clues there. It's just going to make your life easier. It's going to help you understand yourself better. And again, it's that getting rid of the swimming against the tide.
Yeah.
In as many places in your life as possible. Because you're still going to have to swim, and it's hard, and you're going to get tired. But if it's not against the tide,
it's going to be easier.
It's a little easier.
Yep.
Maybe you can get in a little tube for a while.
Exactly.
Just float down the lazy river for just a short period. You take that when you can get it.
Yep.
All right. I want to go drink coffee. And you are already drinking coffee.
I'm gonna I could get a second one.
I think you need one. I don't know why, but you do. This is sweaty work.
Yep,
so we're gonna go get Jamie a second cup of coffee.
Let's do it.
All right.